Welcome to our continuing series, Interviews with Disciples and Devotees. Today we have a wonderful man with us, Dr. Ramaswamy Subramani. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
You know, sometimes we may lightly say, oh, everything is Mother's will. But today I can truly tell you that I was walking out of the ashram and Subramani came to me and asked if we could speak for a few minutes. And I was so moved by his sincerity that I invited him to come and do a video or even two with me. So let me begin, sir, by asking how you first heard of Sri Aurobindo and Mother.
When I was a student in Trivandrum, Kerala, I purchased in 1991 Professor K.R. Srinivasa Iyengar's biography of Sri Aurobindo.
In 1991.
And K.R. Srinivasa Iyengar used to write reviews about books published on Sri Aurobindo in the Hindu. And he, in one such review, quoted from the Uttarpara speech extensively. And gradually, in 2002, when I wanted to register for my PhD, I wanted to do my research on Sri Aurobindo.
And what was that research?
My research was a comparative study of Sri Aurobindo and Teilhard de Chardin.
Teilhard de Chardin, of course, had a glimpse of the New World.
Mm-hmm.
And so you completed your PhD in that subject.
Yes. And I used to come to the ashram frequently, and I became a total devotee of Sri Aurobindo and Mother. I did an extensive study of Sri Aurobindo's The Life Divine and his synthesis of yoga, letters on yoga, essays on the Gita.
And what about the ideal of human unity?
Ideal of human humanity. And my PhD supervisor, Dr. Padma Srinivasan, made me read essays on the Gita. I owe a lot to her. And as a teacher, I teach at Majura College, Madurai. I am Associate Professor and Head Department of English, Majura College, Madurai. I teach Foundations of Indian Culture. Now it is published under the title, Is India Civilized and Renaissance in India?
So how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching in Tamil Nadu state government for 18 years. And for postgraduate classes, I teach Sri Aurobindo's Renaissance in India, Is India Civilized? His response to William Archer's criticism of India for postgraduate classes. And also I teach his Uttarpara speech, his Tales of Prison Life. So we talk now in English studies about culture studies. And culture studies and post-colonial criticism. Sri Aurobindo was one of the first major post-colonial critic. Because in Foundations of Indian Culture, he provided the counter discourse to William Archer's criticism of Indian culture.
May I ask first what you feel about education in India today?
Education in India has been, I'm afraid, it has been controlled by the hostile forces for a considerable period of time. In the name of culture studies, in the humanities, in English, philosophy, sociology, history, in English, studies has become mostly culture studies. And in the name of culture studies, these hostile forces want to divide the country. And in this, I believe the literature of Swami Vivekananda and Sri Aurobindo, they provide the best counter discourse to these hostile forces, the Marxists and other divisive elements who want to divide the society in the name of Aryan and Dravidian and this and that, all these. Sri Aurobindoian literature contains the answer for all these propaganda, negative propaganda made by these hostile forces.
Now we are living in Tamil Nadu. Pondicherry, of course, is previously the area of the French who turned it over to India. But what we have seen something very interesting. We have seen the average Tamil people open to Sri Aurobindo and Mother. They come in droves for the darshans. But what is the average Tamil Nadu person feeling about Hinduism, for example?
A lot of conversions are taking place, unfortunately. And in that.
When you say conversions, do you mean Christian? Or
Yeah, mostly Christian
mostly
conversion.
Christian, all right.
And here, due to this political movement, unfortunately, the divisive forces are at work. But I believe it is a passing phase, and this will go. Only truth will survive. In the academia, especially where I work, this Aryan Dravidian theory has gone very deep. It is used in all the intellectual discourses of the social sciences and also in humanities, English.
And how is it approached?
That is as though Vedas and Upanishads and all these things are work done by the Aryans, who are different from the Dravidians here. Aryans came from outside and suppressed the Dravidians. This discourse is common in the intellectual world of Tamil Nadu.
I see.
But Sri Aurobindo, in Secret of the Veda, he dismisses this Aryan Dravidian theory in the first chapter itself. And he has given a beautiful definition for the word Arya. This is a concoction of the British. And this Aryan and Bishop Caldwell, he had an agenda, a divisive agenda. And certain political movements also had their own divisive agenda. But Dr. Nagaswamy and many other sage people and literature Swami Vivekananda and Sri Aurobindo, they pointed out that this India itself is a sacred land. And this Tamil Nadu is a land of Vedas. Pondicherry was originally known as Vedapuri. There's a place called Ennairam near Pondicherry, where there was a Vedic university. When North fell to the Islamic hand, especially Kashmir, which was the headquarters of Vedic learning in India, fell to the Islamic hand in 14th century, Kanchipuram was raised as one of the intellectual centers of India, Vedic centers of India. Ennairam near Pondicherry had a big university in those days. And Rajaraja Chola himself was well versed in the Vedas. He took a lot of Vedic scholars from here to Indonesia. There are copper plates in Tanjore districts, wherein the Vedic activities patronized by Rajaraja Chola and his son Rajendra Chola are well attested. In Tamil Nadu, the Sangam literature is full of references to Vedic yagnas, Vedic marriages, veneration of Vedas. Silapadigaram glorifies Vedas like anything. Madurai Kanji is a famous work, in Sangam work. It says Madurai wakes to the sound of the Vedas. And so many works in Sangam literature and Bhakti literature can be cited to show that Tamils had a lot of respect for Vedas. Even now, you find outside the academia, in the temples, you find a lot of Bhakti among the Tamil people. This divisive agenda is there only in the academia. Outside the academia, it is not there. But in the academia, I believe this counter discourse can be done by doing a lot of research on the Vedic heritage of Tamil Nadu, because even now we have some 200 Veda Padashalas in Tamil Nadu. And a lot of Vedic activities take place, and Vedas are recited here in a very traditional manner in Tamil Nadu. And the Bhakti literature in Tamil, the Alvas, the Nayanmas, is full of veneration for the Vedas. Tirumulas, Tirumandiram. See, this is a sacred land, Tamil Nadu, of Tiruvalluars and Tirukural, which talked about Artha and Dharma, Kama, and so many works, the Saivate, the Vaishnavite works. Bhakti started from Tamil Nadu, from Andal. From Andal, it spread to different parts of North India. So, and this Dravidian is a total concoction of the British. The Shankaracharya introduced himself in the North India as son of the I am the son of the Dravidian soil. Any South Indian is a Dravidian. The British Bishop Caldwell, they had a strong missionary agenda. of dividing this state into Aryan and Dravidian, all these things. They wanted to divide the society. And the academia has picked it up. But outside, the people are not bothered about all these things. You have the finest temples in South India, in Tamil Nadu, in India, because the North, again, went through a lot of desecration.
Yes.
Scholars with the Islamic invasion.
Yes.
Many scholars from Tamil Nadu migrated to Kashmir to study at Abhinav Gupta. For instance, Madhuraja went in 10th century AD to study at Abhinav Gupta. The only available physical description of Acharya Abhinav Gupta of Kashmir Saivism is by Madhuraja. It is there in the Kashmir University. So from there scholars came here. Shankaracharya went to Sharda Peeth. Ramanujacharya went to Sharda Peeth, which is in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir. So this is such a sacred land. And I don't understand the meaning of the word secular. If you are anti-Hindu, you are secular. We should teach our spiritual heritage to the youth. I don't understand why, in the name of secularism, we should be bashing Hinduism. Because Hinduism itself is a secular religion which integrates different schools of thought. It's heavily pluralistic.
Absolutely.
But among the intelligentsia, if you are anti-Hindu, you are secular. The same kind of view we cannot have towards other faiths. Then you become communal. But as a Hindu, I see the divine in the Muslim, in the Christian. It is the divine that Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman, Yajnavalkya says. As a devotee of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, it is the divine Brahman that we see everywhere.
Now we have a new government and there are changes being made. Can you speak about Kashmir a little bit?
Yeah, this process of dismantling the Marxists have had a big control over higher education since the 70s. And
since the 70s?
Yes, late 60s and early 70s. The then Congress government ceded the intellectual space to the communists due to some political compulsions. So we had professors from JNU and Aligarh Muslim University writing history textbooks, NCERT textbooks. And in all these, the huge destruction of temples that took place during the Islamic period, attested by the Turkish historians themselves. And Muhammad Al-Barani, who came here, he has also written about the destruction. So many. And in North India, you don't have old temples. It is if you want to see the old temples, you have to come to Tamil Nadu, because North went through that vast whole desecration. All these things have been whitewashed in the books written by the Marxist historians. And Romila Thapa says that Ghaznī's invasion of Somanath and destruction of the temple is transfer of capital, as though the sentiments of the people don't matter at all. And they go to the extent of saying that it was all for political reasons and not much this destruction took place. But you see, after 1000 AD, huge, almost not a single temple was spared. Only those in inaccessible, as far as North India, from Kabul to Bengal, from almost all parts of North India, only those which are in inaccessible areas or in forests, only those temples were spared. And new temples, they did not allow new temples to be constructed. Jizya was imposed. North India went through for almost 1000 years a terrible period. But all these things are absent in the books written by the Marxists. And they are heavily prejudiced against Hindu spirituality, Hindu traditions, the Bhakti traditions, how the Bhakti integrated the society, different sections of the society. The Vedic knowledge went to the different sections of the society through the medium of Bhakti. How the Bhakti saints, especially in Tamil Nadu, you take the Alvas and Nayanmas, the Vaishnavite and Saivite saints, they were from this cross section of the society, different. There were only a few Brahmins among them. Mostly they were from what were called the backward communities. India was all were highly educated. They had a rare knowledge of the Vedas. we are not able to take, we have to take these things to the younger generation.
You have studied deeply the Vedas?
I have Sri Aurobindo's Secret of the Veda.
Secret of the Veda.
Yes. Because Sri Aurobindo differed from Sayanacharya's ritual interpretation of the Vedas. And he gave us a mystic interpretation. In the very first chapter, he dismisses this Aryan and Dravidian theory. And he speaks about the description of different Vedic deities and their symbolic messages, which are lost in Sayanacharya's ritualistic interpretation of the Vedas. Sri Aurobindo's Secret of the Veda, his commentaries on Upanishads, his essays on the Gita, a lot of work has to be done on them. And he has given us a task also to study the ancient wisdom of India in the light of modern scientific knowledge.
Yes.
And the ancient heritage of India also. He was one of the earliest cultural critics, and he has sowed the seeds. We have to pick up from that and create national integration.
And is there any positive news on education in India to date?
No, I believe that mother's force is at work. Last 5 or 6 years have been really good for India. And there will be a renaissance. We as devotees of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, we have a big task. And the government is there. And the present government, the Ministry of Human Resources Development, they have started initiatives to protect the Veda Padashalas and to start new Veda Padashalas. And ICSSR, Indian Center Historical Research, all these things, they have started funding projects on Indic heritage of India. And the Marxist, the dismantling of the Marxist infrastructure is taking place now slowly. It's a slow process. This damage has been done for decades. It cannot be undone that easily. But mother's forces, I believe mother's forces there behind all these things. And academia will change. It is changing, and it will change completely soon.
What do you see as the major challenges to India at the moment? Economic, cultural, you name it.
See, I believe that the younger generation is getting uprooted, westernized, and they are not aware about the cultural heritage of India. We as devotees of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, we have a big role to play in this. We have to take this heritage to the youth. And if we take in a palatable form to them, I'm sure they will receive it. Because in metropolitan cities, where consumerist society, lifestyle, westernized lifestyle, a tendency to look down upon Indian culture is very common. And education, they have been given the wrong education. In the name of secularism, they have been given a very anti-Hindu education. So this has to change. The textbooks have to be rewritten to showcase the great cultural unity of India, the cultural heritage of India, and the message of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, the Mother, all these things have to be taken to the youth of the nation.
And today, what is the feeling of academia about Sri Aurobindo?
A lot of work has to be done because in the academia there's a lot of prejudice against Sri Aurobindo.
I see.
And a lot of work has to be done. This climate, the ecosystem is such that the moment you mention Sri Aurobindo or Swami Vivekananda, people immediately shout and say that they were Hindu thinkers and like that. And in institutions of higher learning, the prejudice increases, higher education. And there are, but still, Sachidananda Mohanty is one, Dr. Kapil Kapoor,
Yes.
and Makarandu Paranchapai, Dr. Sudhir Kumar of Punjab University. There are Indic scholars who have been fighting a battle for decades, fighting these hostile Dr. Premananda Kumar, K.R. Srinivasa Iyengar,
Oh, yes.
Dr. Premananda Kumar. There are many such people who have been fighting. We have to take that forward, and we have to publish a lot on Sri Aurobindo, on their contribution to the world of learning, on Indian culture, Indian tradition, on the unity of mankind, their sociological message, Sri Aurobindo's sociological message, his historical vision, his vision of the unity of mankind, his Vedic vision, all these, and his interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita. A lot of work has to be done. Foundations of Indian culture has to be taught in all colleges and universities of India. And his human unity.
The ideal
Of human unity. Ideal of human unity.
You've studied that in depth.
Yeah. And the religion of humanity. That essay. So all these things have to be taken to the youth. A lot of research has to be done on the Arya, several volumes of Arya, because he wrote this for us, and they have been neglected. Not many people are aware about them.
Yes.
The Arya.
Yes, very few.
Very few. Even in libraries these days, university libraries, I don't find Sri Aurobindo's works. He has given us a great task. He has given us a very difficult task. And a lot of research he asked us to do research on the ancient heritage of India in the light of modern scientific knowledge, and produce new works in literature, philosophy, history, under the inspiration of the ancient wisdom of India, and create a synthesis of East and West, the best of the West and best of the East. He himself was a grand synthesis.
Absolutely.
And in Life Divine, he quotes from so many works. Life Divine is an ocean by itself. I've been taking classes in Madurai and Life Divine every Sunday since 2000. Since 2014 January. So many people come, and I connect Life Divine with the Gospel of Ramakrishna to the works of Vivekananda and Ramana Maharishi. He quotes from the Vedas, the Upanishads, so many sacred texts in this. And Sri Aurobindo, there has been, and Mother, there has been nobody like them in human history. And he did tapas in that room for several years. Nobody has done that in human history, to supramentalize humanity, to bring the supramental consciousness now. And Mother also, the tapas that Mother did, amazing. And as devotees of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, we have a big duty in carrying this message to the people in newer forms, in the forms that the youth will comprehend better.
Yes, without proselytizing.
Yes.
Which we see too much now in India, I believe.
Yeah. Lot of things. Because nobody, you see, as a teacher, as a college teacher, as a college professor, when I ask students, have you heard of Sri Aurobindo? People blink. Nobody. He was a great freedom fighter. He was jailed for the Alipur bomb place. And nobody in human history has written so much. And such profound thought. But people blink. The academicians blink. The students blink. So that means they are not aware about him. So there should be a radical change in the educational system, in the cultural policy, in order to showcase their teachings to the society.
I hope that people in Mr. Modi's government are listening to this morning.
Thank you.
Because what you say is of extreme importance. How can that change take place unless we open to Sri Aurobindo, his teaching and Mother? So tell me how you would go about this. Could you suggest that Sri Aurobindo's books be donated to different universities? Would that be of any help? Because people aren't reading him anyway. So what suggestions would you have?
My request to the government of India is there should be Indic studies centers in different central universities of India, where there are a lot of research done on Sri Aurobindo, on Sri Aurobindoian perspective of Vedas, the Upanishads, the Gita, and the task that they have given on research in ancient heritage of India in the light of modern scientific thought. All these things should be carried, and we should strive for harmony. We should talk about national integration, nationalism, patriotism. For instance, people in Tamil Nadu must be told about their Vedic heritage, that Tamil Nadu is not different from rest of India. That Tamil Nadu has played a major role in protecting the Vedas. In contributing to the Vedic heritage of India, Tamil Nadu has played a major role. Tamil literature itself is a great contribution to the spiritual heritage of India. And there are a lot of references on Dharma Shastras, on Vedas and Upanishads in Tamil literature.
And of course, we had the great Tamil poet,
Subramani Bharate. He said, Vedam Niranda Tamil Nadu, a land full of Vedas, Tamil Nadu. Upanishad pol or Noolundo. Is there any text like the Upanishad? And Veda Rishigalin Kavyangal. After studying the Rig Veda under Sri Aurobindo, he wrote a book, Veda Rishigalin Kavyangal. That is the works of the Vedic rishis. Kapali Shastri asked him, when the Atman seated inside the cave of the heart, from where did you learn that? It is from the Vedas. So, Subramani Bharati said, Maharishi, Sri Aurobindo is teaching me the Vedas. And Sri Aurobindo himself translated some parts of the Tirukural, yes, Andal, some of the Bhakti writings. So, Tirukural should be taught to the North Indians. South Indians to study some of the heritage of Sanskrit literature. They should study some of the heritage of Tamil literature and Tamil culture. And that's how national integration can be created.
Now you mentioned certain people whom I have already interviewed, such as Premananda Kumar.
Yeah.
She is a prolific writer.
Yeah. Shraddhalu Ranade is big inspiration for me. Professor Kittu Reddy is a big inspiration for me. Dr. Makarand Paranjpai is a big inspiration for me. Dr. Kapil Kapoor, Dr. Sudhir Kumar, professor of English at Punjab University, he is a Sanskritist. And the Vice Chancellor of Aurobindo University, who passed away recently, he was a good Indic.
Avinash Singh.
Yes, he used to encourage me a lot, and I took a lot of classes there. I have been taking classes on Sri Aurobindo in that university for quite some time.
I see.
Yeah.
And you've not met Mr. Rama?
No, I have not met him.
I see. Well, that we have to arrange.
Mm-hmm.
Your colleagues, any of them through your devotion opening to Sri Aurobindo?
No.
No.
Certain, but outside the academia, there are many people who have, through this life divine classes, they say, we never knew that Sri Aurobindo contains so much. Earlier we used to go to Samadhi and pray, but we were not aware about the teaching of Sri Aurobindo and Mother. And I connect life divine with the other works of Sri Aurobindo, like essays on the Gita, Mother's agenda, Mother's questions and answers, like that. So I connect everything. And the holistic vision that Mother and Sri Aurobindo had, And more and more people are interested in these things now. And we have to take these things to the younger generation in a simpler form. So that, and I'm sure they are also interested in all these things.
How to get groups of people to teach the children? It's a big question.
We have to create a committed spiritual army. We need, as Rajiv Malhotra often says, intellectual Kshatriyas. It's a dharmic path. And the hostile forces are very strong in the intellectual world.
Very strong.
So these hostile forces have to be fought. The Purva Paksha has to be provided to them. So Indic centric thinking has to be encouraged in academia. Such people should be placed in key positions, so that the message of great spiritual masters like Swami Vivekananda and Sri Aurobindo are transmitted to the younger generation.
At present, who are the people at the head of different universities? Are they Christian, Muslim, and what are they preaching?
No, a lot of divisive thought is there everywhere, and some of the things that are being propagated by the academicians in key positions, it's very shocking. They are highly divisive. But there are now people questioning it. There are now people giving the counter propaganda to this. So the counter discourse is coming. With the political change of 2014, slowly the ecosystem is changing. Earlier, higher education was under the control of the Marxists. Slowly, this detoxification is taking place. And we all know that Narendra Modi ji is a yogi. And in his Independence Day, he has spoken about Sri Aurobindo. And he himself is a very spiritually inclined person. So, we know as devotees of Sri Aurobindo, and Francois Gautier himself has pointed out that at the occult level, when a yogi like Sri Aurobindo is the head of the nation, naturally there will be positive changes. Hostile forces now are, I believe, Sri Aurobindo said it is darkest before dawn. So the hostile forces are now, I believe, fighting their last battle, because Mother's force is extremely active, much more active than it was in 1973. And the supramental sun will shine soon.
Have you studied Savitri at all?
I read Savitri, and as part of my research also, the primary and secondary sources of Savitri. So, Life Divine in poetry form. And the evolution of consciousness, involution of consciousness, the integral vision of Savitri, I've been deeply inspired by that. Integral yoga in poetry form. And the supramental society that is going to come, it's all very well. And Ashwapati's yoga and Savitri's yoga. But I've been taking classes only on Life Divine and essays on Gita. And also, I make use of his commentaries on the Upanishads also while taking classes.
And the ideal of human unity?
Ideal of human unity and foundations of Indian culture and Uttarpara speech.
Well, you're doing wonderful work. And I'm very grateful that we had this opportunity this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.